Welcome to the Roy Morgan Weekly Update. I'm Julian McCrann, the manager of the Roy Morgan poll, stepping in today for Roy Morgan CEO Michelle Levine, who is unavailable to deliver the weekly update. ALP primary support is unchanged at 28%, clearly ahead of One Nation, down 3.5% to 22.5%. The LNP coalition unchanged at 21.5%, Liberals 19% and Nationals 2.5%, both unchanged. Greens up 1% to 14%, and Independents, other parties, up 2.5% at 14% as well, according to the Roy Morgan survey conducted from June 29 to July 5, 2026, with a representative Australia-wide cross-section of 1,584 electors. Support for One Nation has now declined 9 percentage points over the last 2 weeks, after hitting a high of 31.5%. When Pauline Hanson addressed the National Press Club for the first time. Hanson's comments on monoculturalism in the address have been heavily scrutinised and publicised in the media. Analysis of the data by state and region shows over the last 2 weeks, support for One Nation has dropped by at least 10 percentage points in the capital cities and the 3 largest states of New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. If a federal election were held now, the ALP would win a clear majority against either One Nation or the coalition. Against One Nation, the Roy Morgan estimate is 56%, which is up 3%, to 44%, which is down 3%, in favour of the ALP. If the contest were between ALP and LNP, on a two-party preferred basis, ALP is ahead 55%, which is up 1.5%, to 45%, down 1.5%. Based on how electors said they'd vote their preferences. Whether the contest were ALP One Nation or ALP LNP will depend on the seat-by-seat outcome, and it's too early to begin detailed analysis, especially given the dramatic rate of change in the party support. This week, Roy Morgan government confidence was virtually unchanged at 67.5, down 1 point. A majority of electors, 59%, say the country is going in the wrong direction, and that's up 2% since last week. Only 26.5% say the country is going in the right direction. That's up 1%. ANZ Roy Morgan consumer confidence is down 1.2 points to 74.7, now over 25 points below the neutral level of 100. There was some good news, with ANZ Roy Morgan inflation expectations down 0.2% to 5.4%. The lowest figure for this estimate for 4 months since early March, although still significantly above the Reserve Bank's preferred limit of 2 to 3%. This means Australians expect annual inflation of 5.4% in each of the next 2 years. Now to business. For the month of June, Australian business confidence recovered slightly, up 1.4 points to 77.5, but still well below the neutral level of 100. Nevertheless, for the June quarter 2026, business confidence hit a record quarterly low of 76.7, and that's down 15.5 points from the March quarter 2026. The June quarter figure is 7.6 points below the previous quarterly low of 84.3 in September 2020 during the pandemic. The drop in business confidence in the June quarter came after the Reserve Bank raised interest rates 3 times so far this year, in February, March and May, by a total of 0.75% to 4.35%, and that's the equal highest level of interest rates since 2011. In addition, Treasurer Jim Chalmers handed down a controversial federal budget in mid-May, which included significant changes to the treatment of negative gearing and capital gains taxation. The Roy Morgan Business Confidence Series is based on interviews with 1,200 businesses each month and around 3,500 each quarter to gauge their views on the company's prospects as well as their assessment of the broader Australian economy. And looking at the states, business confidence is low in all Australian states and below the level of 90 in all 6 states for only the second time ever in June. Western Australia is clearly the lowest at only 59.6, while New South Wales at 83.4 is the highest, but still at a low level. During the June quarter, mining was the only industry with business confidence above the neutral level of 100, and that's on 114.9. The mining industry is being boosted by high prices, for several key commodities, including oil and gas, as well as rare earths and critical minerals. All other industries are in negative territory below the neutral level of 100. So at the other end of the scale, there are now several industries with low business confidence over the last 3 months, including public administration and safety on just 63.2, agriculture, forestry and fishing on 63.5, retail trade on 66.5, construction on 66.7, and accommodation and food services on 68.6. Finally, today, new data from Roy Morgan on banking customer satisfaction among home loan customers shows ING most satisfied at 92.1% in May 2026, and that's up 0.9 percentage points from a year ago. Second is Suncorp Bank on 87.1%, and that's up 2.3 percentage points on a year ago. And filling out the top 4 banks are Bendigo Bank on 84.1%, and that's up 1.6 percentage points, and Macquarie in fourth on 79.7%, following an increase of 0.4 percentage points, so just up slightly. From a year ago, most of Australia's major banks have experienced an increase in customer satisfaction. And looking at the big 4 banks, NAB had the highest rating at 78.8%, and the largest increase in customer satisfaction compared to a year ago, up 6.5 percentage points. NAB are followed by Commonwealth Bank on 78.7%, ANZ on 75.6%, and Westpac on 74.2%. And looking forward, Roy Morgan CEO Michelle Levine will be back next week to bring you the latest data on real unemployment, consumer confidence, inflation expectations, and of course voting intention. Subscribe free to our Roy Morgan YouTube channel for all the latest political, economic, and market research, data and insights. Thank you.